Hello and welcome to Arsenal Analysed. I'm JC. I hope you're doing well. Today I bring you a match preview for Arsenal versus Fulham this weekend at the Emirates. And of course, I'll be sharing with you everything that you need to know before kickoff. So if you are looking forward to today's video, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss out on any future videos. But let's waste no more time at all and dive into the start of today's video. Kicking off with the recent form of both clubs, of course, starting with Arsenal from left to right. Our most recent victory came away from home against Bournemouth, winning 3-0. Prior to that, 4 goals against Leicester, and then opening our Premier League account away at Selhurst Park to Crystal Palace. 19 goals scored in our last 5 games, which, yes, does include 2 pre-season non-competitive games, but it does make for good reading, conceding only 2 and keeping 4 clean sheets. Those are the types of numbers that I like to see, and hopefully we can be consistent across all 3 of those departments moving forward, including the game against Fulham this weekend. But how does that compare to Fulham's most recent form back in the Premier League? Again, they seem to yo-yo in and out from time to time. But their first Premier League game was against Wolves, in which they drew, followed by a good 3-2 victory over Brentford. And then more recently, they featured in the Carabao Cup, losing at the hands of Crawley. But including those 2 non-competitive pre-season games, the last 5, they've scored 6, conceded 7, keeping only 1 clean sheet. Now, what I will say is that when we look at the games against Wolves and Liverpool, 2 very, very tough teams in the Premier League, and to have picked up points against both of those sides, it is very, very good reading for those Fulham fans. I'm hoping that it doesn't have too much of an effect on this upcoming game against Arsenal, but they will look to grind this result out. Mitrovic has been in fairly good form, an absolute physical presence, and I imagine away from home, Fulham will set up with maybe a double low block, looking to hit Arsenal on the counter-attack. Maybe, just maybe, the likes of Odegaard and co can unlock yet another tricky set of defenders. Moving into the head-to-head record between these 2 clubs, 59 times in total they have played each other, not only in the league, but also various cup competitions as well. Arsenal comfortably trumping Fulham in this department with 40 wins compared to their 8, 11 of which have ended in a draw, which was the scoreline in the most recent fixture between these 2 sides, back when COVID and games were being played behind closed doors. Arsenal managing a 1-1 draw at the Emirates. And then the 2 games prior to that, you can see some old faces, Willian, Aubameyang, and even going back as far as Aaron Ramsey. And you can see there a 3-0 win away from home, opening the Premier League campaign in that particular season, and also a 4-1 win there as well. Now, it does make for good reading. Arsenal haven't lost in the Premier League to Fulham in their last 8. And you have to go back all the way to January 2012, which was the last time Arsenal lost to Fulham. And that was actually away from home. Arsenal haven't actually lost at home to Fulham, well, for a very, very, very long time. I don't think they've ever lost to Fulham, in fact, at home. So that makes for very, very good reading indeed. With regards to injury news, very, very good reading for Arsenal fans. Reiss Nelson is the only player said to be out injured. This does come prior to Mikel Arteta's press conference, so he may shed light on some new injuries that may have been picked up after the game at the weekend or during training. But I've not seen anything online or across any media outlets either, including the Premier League injury list. So if that is Arsenal's only injury concern heading into Fulham, it creates a fantastic problem and headache for Arteta. whilst I don't think he'll change much heading into this fixture, it's nice to have those selection problems. Fulham, on the other hand, have two players in Solomon and Cabano who will be assessed ahead of this fixture. Likewise, with Arteta, Silva has not yet done his press conference, so he may shed further light on those two players, and they may yet be available, even if it's just the matchday squad ahead of this fixture. However, from what I understand, Harry Wilson will not be available for selection due to a knee injury. And just before anyone asks down in the comment section below why there are so many blank spaces, for those regular watchers all the way back until last season, there were cases where some teams had 4, 5, 6 plus injuries for some of these fixtures. So this is in anticipation of a injury list being longer than my arm. Now, looking at my key danger men ahead of Arsenal versus Fulham, for the last two previews, I have named Gabriel Jesus. And whilst I do think he will still yet be a very big threat going forward, I thought it was only fair to not only change it, but give who I gave man of the match to the hat in this particular game. Now, he did score 2 goals against Bournemouth, 70 touches, very, very much involved in everything positive that Arsenal done. He was successful in 1 out of 4 dribbles. He did set the tone and the pace, really, really led by example as Arsenal captain. 85 passing completion, which for him, funnily enough, is quite low, but still makes for good reading. 3 shots. I love this stat. He was heavily criticised last season for not contributing enough in that final third. And there were even instances, I think, in the Crystal Palace game where he had opportunities to shoot, but he preferred to pass to a colleague. So I'm liking this more ruthlessness from him, and he was successful in 4 of his duels. I'm hoping this will be the kickstart of a patch of very good form for Martin Odegaard, and he can continue to really press against these types of teams that will defend, especially away from home, which is an issue that Arsenal had quite often last season. Fulham, on the other hand, as already mentioned earlier on in this video, Mitrovic is a player that I anticipate to be and continue to be for all Premier League sides an absolute handful, a physical presence, a nightmare for defenders. Saliba and Gabriel, I imagine, will have a very, very tough time. But with both of them being fairly big lads themselves, I expect them to be able to handle him. He did manage to get a goal against Liverpool when heading over the top of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Just an absolute problem all throughout the game. But he managed to score a goal against Brentford, 44 touches, 8 shots, which is absolutely fantastic for a striker. That's what you want. And he missed 4 big chances in this game as well. If Arsenal allow that to happen in this game this weekend, he may bag a few more than just the one that he scored against Brentford. He had a passing success rate of 67%, which we know for those people that watch regular Premier League games is not what he is being put in this lineup for. And he won 7 out of 18 duels. He just absolutely loves to get in and amongst it. So 2 players worth keeping an eye on this weekend, Martin Odegaard and Alexander Mitrovic. With regards to my predicted lineup, not really too much to speak about, if I'm honest with you. I do anticipate with there still being a week between games and no fresh injury news or fitness concerns. And off the back of 3 successive Arsenal wins and 9 points on the board, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Bukayo Saka in the last 2 games has been slightly underwhelming. So if you did want to kind of be hypercritical, I suppose, he could be a player that you look to potentially rotate. Other headaches potentially for Mikel Arteta would be, do you bring Tomiyasu in at right back ahead of Ben White, who's played very well? Likewise, Kieran Tierney ahead of Zinchenko. In my opinion, no. And Emil Smith-Rowe, does he get in ahead of Martinelli, which is where he played often last season on that left wing? No, because Martinelli has been one of our better players. But do let me know down in the comments below, is this the lineup that you want to go with if you were manager of Arsenal Football Club? If not, which changes would you make? Which brings me on to my prediction for this fixture. I do anticipate a a grindy game, if you will, just because of how they performed against Liverpool and also Wolves. So I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Arsenal win as well. I do expect us to keep a clean sheet just because of how good we have been at the back, how physical we have been at the back, and confident as well. I'm going to go with another Gabriel Jesus goal and even Martin Odegaard. Those are the two I'm going for. So let me know your predictions down in the comments below. Who will score and what will the scoreline be? Let me know down below. But that's going to about wrap things up for today's video. Smash that like button if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new around here. Tactical analysis coming after the game over the weekend as well. So make sure you got that notification bell button on so you don't miss out. But for now, I'm JC, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe and take care.